With how immersive the hospitality industry is in Las Vegas, it's a little bit difficult to imagine how it would be like on other continents and in other countries in general. So today I will be discussing the Cotai Strip in Macau, China, just to give us an overview of a little bit of a different gaming destination and definitely one of the most important in the whole world. My name is Alexandra, and I will be presenting the Cotai Strip as part of my final presentation for Gaming 225. And I hope you gain something interesting from my presentation, if not maybe something beneficial for your future career if you do end up working in the area, and you will be remembering that I carried out this smaller presentation. All right, and the outline that I will be following today will be the following. I will start with a brief introduction of Macau and Cotai in general. I will go over some history and development of the area. I will be presenting some of the current businesses that have been established for the past decade, but also some future developments that were announced. And I will also be discussing the performance of Cotai gaming on the global scale, especially compared to Las Vegas and the US gaming scene. To begin with, Macau is a special administrative region on the south coast of China. The region of Macau is comprised of a land part as well as the island part that you can see here in the picture on the left. The peninsula is part of the Guangdong province, and then the two islands called Taipa and Koloane are over here on the right-hand side. You can see Taipa is on the north-hand side, and then Koloane is on the lower-hand side. And then Cotai would be the area that is right in between. The Macau region was a former Portuguese colony, one of the first in Asia, until 1999, when the rights to it were passed back onto the People's Republic of China. A fun fact about Macau is that it's the world's most populated area with 670,000 people per 12 square miles, which is a roughly 50,000 people per square mile, which is insane to think about. And also, back in 2014, the Cotai Strip casinos made six times the amount that Las Vegas casinos were making in gaming revenue. All right, for the history and development of the Cotai Strip and the Cotai region in general, Macau was the first European colony in East Asia, and then the land was reclaimed in the 17th century as part of a settlement between the Portuguese government and the People's Republic of China. The islands of Taipa and Koloane were part of a larger land reclamation project, and so Cotai being in the middle was also part of this land reclamation project. The transfer of sovereignty from the Portuguese government to the Chinese government took place in 1999, and all the autonomy was passed besides defense and foreign affairs until 2049, and so defense and foreign affairs are still under the Chinese government authority. As a gaming destination, gaming can be traced back to the 19th century in Macau, when gaming was legalized by the government in about 1847. According to researcher Jorge Godinho, who is currently a gaming law professor at the University of Macau, there are three periods in the gaming history of Macau. Starting with the Fontan era between 1849 and 1961. There's the STDM monopoly concession, which then developed into more concessions and more business competition from the West. And then the last era that's still ongoing would be the mega resorts era, starting in 2002. The term Cotai Strip was coined by the Las Vegas Sands Company, and the overall goal was to make Cotai into a very Las Vegas-esque destination. And according to a study, Macau is most popular with Chinese gamblers, with mostly domestic tourists from mainland China. And this is one of the reasons why there are some goals to develop Macau into a more global destination, which I will touch upon further in the presentation. All right, as a gaming destination, Macau is very much dependent on its gaming concessions. The very first gaming concession was only for the government, so it was a gaming monopoly. It started with Fontan houses, and Fontan is a very old and established game in China, and it's a pure chance game. It's much like playing roulette. The next era in the concession history of gaming in Macau was the Tai Hang concession between 1937 and 1961. And then in 1962, STDM outbid Tai Hang, gaining a new concession to gaming in Macau and bringing more businesses to the game. And then in 2002, the gaming concessions expanded from 3 to almost 6, including concessions and sub-concessions. And the following companies were granted these gaming licenses, so to say. The SJM Company, Wynn Resorts, Las Vegas Sands, Galaxy Entertainment, as well as some partnerships between MGM Mirage, PNC Ho, Chu King, and PBL plus Melco. All right, the Cotai Strip. This is again a term that was coined by the Las Vegas Sands Company in an effort to make a Cotai a both Eastern and Western destination for tourists as well as primarily gamblers, mostly to bring it to the global scene under a very recognizable label like the Las Vegas Strip. The opening of integrated resort properties really brought in most of the business that we see today. The Venetian was opened in 2007, Four Seasons in 2008, and in the City of Dreams in 2011, along with some other businesses that are still present today. The massive expansion of the VIP market really took off and placed Macau as a global gaming destination, especially in baccarat rooms, which Professor Jorge Godino also wrote extensively upon in his studies. As far as present businesses and future projects on the Cotai Strip, there are 12 current properties, both gaming and non-gaming. The very first property was built in 1970. It's called the Hotel Grand Lisboa, and it is a non-gaming property. The Venetian Macau, it is the largest property on the Cotai Strip and also maybe one of the biggest casinos in the world, which I will touch upon briefly shortly. And some other familiar names for us, at least, are the Wynn Palace, the MGM Cotai, and the Parisian Macau. A little bit about Hotel Lisboa. It was the very first property. The architecture is very much old Portuguese style, and it is a property with about 1,000 rooms. The Venetian Macau looks almost identical to the one that we have in Las Vegas. It is the largest property with 3,000 rooms. It also has 800 table games compared to Las Vegas properties that have around 100 and something. And it also has 3,400 slots. The Wynn Palace is one of the most luxurious and exclusive destinations that people can stay at and gamble at in Macau. It is very focused on its VIP market, and as you can see, a very large number of tables are VIP only for gaming in Wynn Palace. It has 1,700 rooms, and it's also the second Wynn property in Macau. So in conclusion, is there one casino or one gaming destination to rule them all? Probably not, especially because of the different tourism mentalities in the East and the West. Tourists in China that travel to Macau are looking more to gamble and to have a nice luxurious stay or a more mid-level stay, whereas Las Vegas tourists are really looking for those food and beverage options as well as a lot of entertainment. So I hope you enjoyed my presentation. I hope you learned something new, and thank you for your time. The MGM Cotai is one of the most modern looking properties on the Cotai Strip, and it also has the world's largest art garden, having a couple 100,000 plant species and 1,400 rooms. As far as future developments, researchers are looking into the benefits of revising gaming concession system to allow for more competition and to bring it a more global clientele, which may be at odds with the political and the social system in China that doesn't want to allow too much inflow from the global scene, but it will be developed in the next couple of years. The expansion of entertainment is mostly to mirror more Western gambling destinations like Atlantic City and Las Vegas, since Las Vegas is very much an entertainment capital of the world. Also, casino licensing bids have been opened by the Macau government in September 2022, and the company that I work for, which is Genting company wants to open up a casino as part of its global expansion project. As far as performance on the global scene, Macau used to lead with 44% revenue growth when its first major properties first opened in 2004. And table game revenue was almost 7 times higher than Las Vegas, which is insane to think about. Gaming makes up the majority of Macau GDP, and as opposed to Las Vegas, which roughly gets its GDP in about a tenth as far as citywide revenue, Macau gets 87% of its GDP from gaming only, and this is a statistics from 2014, so it may have been changed since then. As far as gaming revenue over the past couple of years, Las Vegas has made $7 billion dollars revenue in gaming from a study compiled by American Gaming Association. Atlantic City only stacked up about $2.6 billion, and then Macau earned $10 billion, which is very interestingly a low number compared to pre-pandemic revenue thresholds. For example, in 2019, it racked up a whole $36 billion just from gaming revenue.